And we are live. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new stream, and that is right. We are live on this beautiful July 16th, 2026. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day myself, and we're joined by Mr. Yay.
6'7".
Oh, gosh. And John will be here in a second. Yes, John is actually going to show up. He had to go do something real quick. But tonight we have a very special stream. President Trump to address the nation in like 10 minutes. So for Trump standards, that means like half an hour because he's always late. Which I never got that, why he's always late to everything. It's like, dude, it's your event.
He's a New York cosmopolitan. He's always fashionably late.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so we have a pretty eventful night, and this feels different from other addresses because when Trump doesn't address the nation, we kind of know what's going to be said, and like most of the time, it doesn't really change much, really. But this time it feels different from what we're hearing. Again, we don't know for sure what's be said, but we have a strong indicator what this is about. It's about election interference, and there's some rumors going around that we don't know for sure just yet, but Trump is going to speak in like 10 minutes or so, and we're going to see what they have, what they're going to allegedly say about the elections in America. It just, this time it feels different. I don't know, like, we were talking before the stream, but it's like all these networks, magically they're canceling the primetime address. They don't want to air it. And then you got all these top senators like Bernie Moreno going around and saying, this is like bigger than the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's what he said. Like, this is as big as the Cuban Missile Crisis type thing. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight. This is kind of an open-ended thing. We don't know what's going to be said. Now, the funny outcome is it's just a nothing burger. And it's just like, guys, the Dominion software stole everything. But what do you think, Ye? What do you think he's going to say? Like, do you think this is going to be nothing burger, or do you think it's going to be something actually like real?
I originally said this was going to be a nothing burger, but it is very interesting. The mainstream media, the corporate media conglomerate, they're not touching this shit with a 10-foot pole.
That's weird.
That is very weird. And so it makes me think, okay, is there something to this?
Because
like, are we? Because and the fact is, it's a primetime address, and then you have senators that are freaking out over it. I think there is going to be something here.
There's going to be something that's maybe it's not like the servers in Germany or something like that, but I'm hearing something about they found a bunch of illegal aliens doing shit, like actively in our elections. Maybe that's what it is, but
it sounds like it's the Chinese.
That's a weird thing. It's like we're getting reports of illegal immigrants voting that the Chinese are involved. This might get interesting. I have a couple theories, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to go down that because we don't know. This is a thing where it's Trump. This is either going to be the biggest announcement ever, or it's gonna be like, guys, Venezuela, they did shady stuff. But
Venezuela, no iPhone.
yeah. Okay. Let's read some super chats. And as it is an address to the country tonight, I'm not going to read super chats during the speech. So if you have super chats, send them. And throughout the speech, you could send them, but I'll read them after the fact. So just a quick note for everybody. Let me pull the super chats real quick. Let me get these through right away. Oh my gosh, where's YouTube at? YouTube, please work. There we go. Oh my gosh, what? Why is YouTube breaking for me? Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Got it. Let's see here. 280 Bear for 2. I hope Trump goes after Thune by name tonight. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to talk about what they found. Random Polish guy for 2. I feel like I have a pin in my stomach about the address. Yeah, this just, I don't know. This is an address that could go either way. It's either the biggest thing since the Cuban Missile Crisis or it's nothing. Which, again,
Somebody said it was
Bernie Moreno said that. It's like, wait, why would you even, why would you even suggest that? This has to be like, if it's worse than the Cuban Missile Crisis, which nearly caused World War III, this better be something big. Not just, oh, we found a server connected to some Chinese apartment. It's like, no, it's got to be something real, intangible. A glitch EV for 2. Late Beijing politics. Thank you. Random Polish guy for 5. Late Polish politics. I'm watching this with y'all tonight. Repping with the boys. I just hope this is a nothing burger address. Again, it goes either way with Trump. It's either a nothing burger or it's gonna be hilarious and something big. American Noted for 2. Heard NBC and ABC aren't airing the address. That is the weird part. Why are they not airing it? And apparently they announced that after a bunch of senators were briefed on it. So you can probably guess what happened. Some people leaked what was going to be the speech. Probably. That's my guess. And Tyrone just joined. All right, Tyrone, let me read the super chats real quick. I got to get through a bunch before the speech starts.
I just put my headset on. What'd you say? Sorry.
Oh, gosh. I got to read through a bunch of super chats before the speech starts. So
take your time. I'm eating.
Ben for 2. Did you see can't make image Google? I don't know what that is.
I'll link it in a second.
I don't want to know.
No, you don't want to know. It's fucking insane.
American Noted for 2.
All I will say about that is thank you, India.
Oh gosh.
No.
American Noted for 2. Thoughts on what Vance said about the Epstein files? I think he's right, and I think it proved that he has half a brain. So
Vance has this weird thing where he's really good at being the journo whisperer, but he's being a little bit too courteous to the retard, right?
Yeah, but I think you have to right now. The fucking appeases people just a little bit, but if you give them a bone, they'll forget about it.
Hey man, I trust Vance. He's going to be the nominee, and he's going to be the next president.
Okay, Josh for 5. What do you think of the Vance Rogan interview? I haven't had time to watch it. I watched most of it. I think it was good, but again, there's some parts where I can understand why some people are like, maybe Vance should chill out a little bit. Maybe he should go for a walk.
Stop talking.
Yeah, but no, I think he did good. Ronald Garcia for 2. Hope you're not dying for the smoke rap. Yeah, it's a mess in the Midwest. What a fucking joke. Can we nuke Canada? Like unironically.
It's like it has been. We've been really putting the flood in Texas flood here recently.
Yeah. Arcanes for 5. The main debate was a mess. One of their trans candidates mentioned their opener, their fears of harassment in men's bathrooms. What the fuck? The hell's going on in Maine? American Noted for 2. Trump is always late for dramatic effect. Yeah, that's part of it. Object Clay's Kidder for 2. 1 minute late. Nice improvement with later start. Oh gosh, thank you. Old New Year for 5. They need to leave David Light savings alone. It is psychologically comforting at the time of the year. I'm not going to get that debate. I think it's kind of just, it is what it is. Either way, it's one of those things I go back and forth on. I see both sides of the argument, but I just think some of the debates on it are kind of just stupid. American Noted for 6. News networks should be required to air primetime presidential addresses, as when the president comes on at the prime time, it should be important. Well, that's the weird thing. It's like, that's what they usually do.
So I looked into it. They are instead streaming it on their live news broadcasts instead of primetime because they are saying it is too political event. And to be fair, they actually did this with Obama, Trump one, and Biden multiple times after 2010. Like, you remember Obama's immigration?
Yeah, I get that, but I think either way it should just be aired. Just my opinion, because it's presidential address at prime time. That's just my take.
No, it's one of those things where unfortunately there is a precedent from them doing this
I get
because
that. I think it's a
too
bad
politically
one.
charged. They refuse to put Biden on every single time. Is the funny thing.
SoCal Loom
they're airing Trump more than Biden.
SoCal Loom for 2. Trump announced the death of the Rizzler. Oh gosh. President Gilbert giddy up for 5. The Polish man and totally Asian man are here streaming for us tonight. Where's the base black man at? He's right here. Riley Moore for 2. Maxie Waters said shut off the TV tonight. Oh, I wonder why she said that. Brandon Polish guy for 2. CNN also not broadcasting. What's going to happen? I don't know. We'll see. Potato chip for 2. Autism announcement 2.0. It's real.
Autism announcement.
Object Clay's Cater for 5. Speech. Emperor Trump reforms the U.S. into the first North American empire and disbands the Imperial Senate for being useless. Trump is the Senate. Real and true. Rye Guy for 5. West Coast wildfire smoke is gross, and trust me on this one. Yeah, I think it's a fucking disgrace what Canada's doing. Like, what are they even doing over there? Like, just do the bare minimum. Maintain your forest, please. Like, that's all you have to do. But okay. That's all the super chats for now. Again, guys, if anyone got super chats during the speech, you can send them, but I'm not going to read them until after the speech for, well, obvious reasons. Orange Man's going to pull up any second now, allegedly. We'll see. So, Tyrone, what's your predictions for tonight? Nothing burger?
It's either I give it a 50-50. It's a nothing burger, or this is going to be such ironclad evidence that it can be held up in a court of law, and they will actually be able to do something. You're not streaming it, by the way. Discord client side.
Hold on. Trump's address the nation. Okay.
Many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now
it's not working on your end then.
Country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest
you have to watch on your end, guys.
In more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it.
6-7.
We accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social
Trump, get to the fucking point.
Great seniors.
Get to the fucking point, Donald.
The interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy, because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of health care. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to trumpaccounts.gov
For fuck's
and
sake.
sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border.
Oh my
in the
God,
history
get
of
to
our
the
country,
point.
and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most
Okay, we
powerful
get
military
it.
by far.
Okay, you saying that
anywhere
over
in
and
the
over again
world.
is not going to make
I
him
built
speak
it
faster.
during my first
It will.
term,
Trust the play
How
on
about
it.
you
and
speak faster?
unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections.
There we go.
You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure. One where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files.
Jesus.
That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country, a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money
Okay,
to
this is actually
write
significant.
more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden.
Ooh, wait, what?
Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning.
Hussein.
Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems, dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it, made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites, are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026, this is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned, they couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review of state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls, and yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody, and it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
All right. That was it. Is Discord working? Let's see. Okay, Discord. Is Discord working?
Yeah.
Okay, that was something, all right.
That's teetering on nothing burger.
The first quarter, you knew Trump was gonna do something like that at the start. Just that's Trump.
I'm already
Trump's
by the way,
biggest problem.
I'm already seeing this. I'm already seeing this. There are a lot of people. Are we still streaming?
Yeah, we're still streaming.
There
Yeah.
are a lot of people already posting examples of like completely redacted documents and going, "Oh, look at that. Can you imagine that? Look at that." Like, can you I don't understand why some people, and yes, I'm calling out two specific people in this server. Why are you guys acting so gay?
Oh,
He just
gosh.
announced he's going to be pushing criminal charges against certain things and going after names and people, as well as
All right.
acting against China.
So-
Like, that's pretty fucking big.
Yeah, so okay, the first part was nothing burger. The horse shit about we made America great. Oh, that stuff, that's just Trump being Trump. I would argue the most damning part of this was what they said about like the people in the media. Apparently they were getting paid off by China to like report against Trump and say bad stuff about him and basically making a state policy to go
Donald
after
Trump,
him.
arrest Don Lemon.
Do it.
Again. Arrest him again.
Yeah,
It's
so
true.
I don't think with Nothing Burger, there were some interesting parts that were mentioned here that we didn't know anything about. So it was noteworthy, but I want to see the documents first. I want to really see what's in it because this could be really bad. Like, I hope they actually go after people in the media if that's the case where, oh gosh, aliens. Like, you have to go after people in the media. If they were getting paid off by China, like he alleged here, why are they not going after them?
Hello,
Why?
John.
Welcome back, John.
I'm a little buzzed. Hello.
All right.
You know what?
Hell
It's my
yeah, brother.
Friday. I'll drink to that.
All right. Got a bunch of super chats to catch up to real quick. We'll go back to the discussion. If YouTube will work.
Drinking with my Floridian Anarchy.
All right.
I want to make a point real quick. A lot of people are pouring over the files if you're able to reach them. So many people are trying to connect to the files
Yeah, it's
that it's like
crashing.
crashing. But yeah, a lot of people are going through and obviously just like any time that there's a file dump, they're dissatisfied with the amount that's available. I do want to note something that Trump said during that speech, which was that the way that election fraud would take place on these Dominion voting systems has been made virtually impossible to prove. So if you're looking around the files, looking for a way for the fraud to be proven, you're asking Trump to, like, I don't know, turn his dick into a vagina. I don't really know what you want in that sense.
You're asking
Um,
him to tune out.
yeah, I like you're asking him to do magic. You're asking him to do sorcery.
Magic, everybody.
But the thing that's being pointed out here, and I think it's really important, they're showing specific instances. I'm kind of disappointed Fulton County wasn't discussed at all because I know that's
That's
an
a
active
weird. That's
ongoing
a weird
investigation.
one. Like, didn't
That's an
mention
active
that.
that's an active ongoing investigation, and it may be possible that they're avoiding talking about it because they don't want to sabotage any future trials with Fulton County, but they did bring up Michigan. And they brought up the fact that in Michigan, they had a pay to play to win system for people to generate fake voter registrations in exchange for money given in the form of gift cards. And the reason they do it that way is so that it can be considered a gift and be not considered an income and not be considered, like, again, it's part of the fraud. They're trying to avoid a paper trail and trying to avoid any sort of complicity for this in paying them by using gift cards. It's the same way that scammers they they fuck over your grandma by making her go buy a bunch of Target gift cards and giving the codes to them over the internet. So it's the same thing. They're doing fraud and they're trying to avoid being prosecuted for it by fucking giving out gift cards. That's why, like, it's really hard to trace and it's really hard to prove and it's really hard to convict in a court of law. But nevertheless, the files show, yes, literally documented proof that in Michigan they're making fake voter registrations to vote in elections. And there was actually one interesting page that I think someone in my server had pulled up. Let me see if I can scroll through and find it. I'll stop talking for a second. Hold
All
on.
right, let me just read the super chats real quick because we got a shitload that came in. Tristan for 2, local affiliates are covering it. Okay. Correct the track for 5. Go in to cool the forest fires with winter. Nuclear winter. That's real. American Nerd for 2. Trump likes to take his time to get to the point. Well, yeah, that was my one issue with Trump's with the speech Trump had. It's like, dude, just get
Well, you
to
know
the
what he's
point.
doing, right? Like this is it's a prime time thing, so he's
Yeah, I
trying
know.
to fluff up his own image because it's a very good time to do it. Now, I mean, we don't like having to deal with it, but
I guess the
it
boomers
is
love
what
it.
it is. Well,
It is
that and
what
like
it
it's just a chance for him to put out like, hey, like I'm doing stuff. Everyone, look at me.
Look at me, guys, compared to Biden.
Yeah, because you have a lot of people that are like, oh, Trump isn't doing anything.
He's done
Oh,
nothing.
Trump's
And like freaking they're getting rid of visas for students and stuff. It's but yeah, they
yeah, no, like
So Brandon just dumped this stuff. I don't know if you want to talk about it personally because you're
Yeah,
in
let me
here.
pull up the,
Hi, Brandon. Speak up, Brandon. I know you were one of the 2 people already making fun of these files when they dropped posting the documents.
let me
with all
pull up
black
the
redactions.
Yeah, I was laughing so much at that Russia section in one of the documents where the whole page is
It's just
blacked
all
out.
redacted.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't read anything on it other than the word Russia at the top.
Okay, so I got the one of the files pulled up, I think. Let's see here. There we go. So I got this one pulled up, and this is one that John posted. States that protect federal elections. Numerous proactive, contentious states officials have successfully utilized free services, blah, blah, blah. What is this? Proactive save use. Wait, what is this, John?
Productive save user states. So in Georgia, they found
Oh, I
42,776
see it.
deceased. Yeah.
Okay, so 43,000 people that are dead. They're still active on the files in Georgia.
Yeah.
20
And,
yeah.
and this is cooperation between the states and the Department of Homeland Security. So if you read it halfway through that first paragraph, DHS has enabled those states to identify over 400,000 deceased registrants and over 28,000 non-citizens who illegally registered to vote. Not like are registered to vote by accident. No. That illegally, the moment they registered to vote, were illegally registered to vote.
My gosh, look at North Carolina, 36,000. How much did we lose a Supreme Court race by in 24 in North Carolina? Was it like 3,000 votes?
Hold on, 2024 North Carolina.
Because that was the big
Supreme
race we
Court
lost to by
race.
freaking Mark Robinson being dumbass.
That was lost by let's see.
It was 800
So
votes basically.
no, hold on.
Jesus.
Okay, 2,272,412 minus 2,700.
You were saying 300.
678. 734 votes. We lost that Supreme Court race by 734 votes.
1,600 non-citizens on that ballot.
Yeah.
Or in North Carolina.
And these are just like, here's the issue. These are the ones we know about. That's the scary part. We don't actually know for sure how many people, because these are just the ones we know for sure, like they're an illegal immigrant. They're not supposed to be on the ballot or the files.
Holy
But
shit. They name dropped Judge Sparkle Sunshine by name
where?
at the very bottom of the proactive save user
Sparkle
state.
Sukanon?
Yeah, Sparkles and
The Sparkle woman, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
Sparkle
gosh.
Sunshine
Unfortunately, due to the actions of the activist
They-
Judge Sparkle, oh my gosh. Many of the
they fucking name dropped Judge Twilight Sparkle. I know that you just got a hard on for that one, Brandon.
Oh gosh. What? Many of the enhancements to the service of USCIS have been suspended. So this is bare minimum stuff, and they got suspended because the judge said so. So they found 36,000 in North Carolina. They had to suspend it. 10,000 in Kansas, 15,000 in Louisiana. These are not small amounts, everybody. This is kind of a noteworthy amount. Because
It would seem like they're focusing on the swing states too, where only like 10,000 votes can swing who wins a state.
Yeah.
In Michigan, Pennsylvania, these are the states that matter. If you get 200,000 more Democratic votes in California, it doesn't really affect you as much.
Look at Ohio, 60,000 that are deceased or non-citizens.
Texas has 111,000.
Jesus. Like this right here is the issue. Like, and
here's what I
yeah.
will say, and this is an important, like, to be fair to people. Some of this is just people who have died in the last year or so, and they likely haven't actually, like, nobody's voted under their name. Now, that's why you need to have regular yearly or even bi-yearly purges of these voter rolls, because there should not be 110,000 dead people.
People don't understand
on the
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done.
Yeah, like there shouldn't be over 100,000 dead people on the registration in Texas. But I'm not saying those are all. I'm not saying all that is malicious. And that
I'm not saying that either.
Are,
like there's some that are
like,
bro, shut up, let them speak. You're always on our asses about talking over people.
Yeah. Just devil's advocate. I do think it's important to make sure that like we're not saying there's 42,000 dead people that like are being kept on the registration to be used to like steal an election.
You can be devil's advocate. I can be devil's prosecutor. Yeah, they did that. It's all malicious. It's all bad. Please.
I can be devil's jury.
Throw all these people into the dungeon.
Well, what's dumb about this is like the Social Security Administration, they have the information right when you die. They have that shit like immediately. So you're telling me they can't just go to the administration to get this info if they're dead? Like, why can't they automatically do it? Like, that's the part that I don't get. It's
That's
stupid.
the thing with like states that don't register or states that don't do like regular checks with USCIS or with the Social Security Administration. Like it really should not. Like every 6 months, the Secretary of State in each state should pull that information up and go, oh, all these people are dead. Cool, take them off the ballot or take them off the registration.
All right, got a bunch.
I think it should be twice a year. I think it should be
every 6 months. Well, yeah.
You got super chats?
Yeah, just a couple more and then we're done. Good lord. 280 Bear for 5. Any bets Palin become a never Trumper by before the year ends? Probably. President Gilbert Giddy up for 5. Okay, he's appeasing the boomers with his messaging. Now appeal to Gen Z with some groundbreaking shit, Trump. That's real. America noted for 2. Let's see those receipts. America noted for another 2. What Trump pointed to something like Perot did. Pointed something. Oh, like the advertisements. Yeah, I get it. Gilbert Giddy up for 2. He said begs like rap does. Oh gosh. Gilbert Giddy up for 2. Pass the Save America Act instituted for Lindsey Graham. Brandon Polish guy for 2. The actual election stuff was not a nothing burger. Well, we're talking about that now. America noted for 10. Aside from Lindsey Graham's Save America Act, where do we go from here? Because the investigation the DOJ is doing 100% confirms what Trump said. That could be the biggest scandal since Watergate. Well, we still got to read through how many documents are there. Anyone got a rough estimate? A couple thousand, I'm guessing.
There's a lot of documents, and people are pouring through them right now. We'll learn more as things come out tomorrow.
Like, people online would get it within an hour. Like, they're gonna find all the corruption in 5 minutes.
Well, Brandon was posting this important thing from the account at I am very silky. Where have I seen this 287,000 number before, which is on the document for non-citizens on state voter rolls? According to a DHS review of state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Silky was pointing out that this correlates to 2020, Michigan won by 154,000 votes, Pennsylvania won by 80,000 votes, Wisconsin won by 20,000 votes.
Yeah, do the math.
If you do some quick math, it comes pretty close. Not exact, but pretty close to that 278,000.
Yeah, if you throw in Georgia, it's probably right on the dot. But
if you throw in Georgia and you throw in dead people, you're probably getting pretty close to very feasible fraud.
I am Battlefield for 5. I just realized Trump didn't even blame the Democrats. Well, he kind of did, but
well, you do know he met like towards the end. He's like, "This should be a moment of unity," which is probably why he shied away from that language. The Save America Act has 80% of support, and so a large chunk, more than anything else that we push for, large chunk of Democrats want this to happen. Large chunk of Black voters want this to happen. A large chunk of people who just care about the country, even if they vote incorrectly, care about this issue. So it's just one of those things. Is what's the point in demonizing, attacking Democrats when the average person listening to it processes that in their brain as, oh, he's attacking me, instead of, oh, he's attacking the soulless, corrupt bags of flesh on the other side of the aisle. The deep state.
All right, Richard headed for 2. Does this put enough pressure on the Senate? I mean, I think it's Trump's last-ditch effort, but I don't think it's going to do anything.
Well, there was a thing that came out earlier where Thune said something. I didn't read the article.
I read the article. He was basically saying that they were going to try to shove it through they were going to try to shove it through reconciliation, which Murkowski and Tillis have already said that they are going to vote no on. So
I'm pretty sure didn't they threaten to like shut down the government if they did that or something?
Yes, Tillis said that he will shut the government down and work with Democrats if they keep trying to pass. Tom Tillis,
guy that literally is retiring in a couple months. Like, I will shut down the government over trying to fix the system. Murkowski says openly, and by the way, let's all be honest about this. Murkowski wants there to be fraud. Murkowski wants there to be interference because she would not have a Senate seat without it. Yeah.
Second time she's done that shit.
Yeah, simple logic for 5. This is way worse than I thought. I need another drink. Holy crap. The fact that races were lost by this cheating. Well, yeah, you just do the math, and again, like, people make it sound like, oh, it's only 200,000 votes. And again, that's what we know about. That's without states like California. You don't want to know how many California has, but do the math.
And this issue hasn't been resolved. It's an ongoing issue. So what do you think about the Senate race in Nevada, in Michigan, the Senate race in Wisconsin, the Senate race? Like, how many Senate seats did we quote unquote lose in 2024? I'm not saying that they're all blah, blah, blah.
They're all stolen.
But if it was possible for any of them to have this happen to them, does that not concern you as a citizen? Are you not even mildly concerned that it is 100% possible and also just like actually easy with the number of dead people and non-citizens on voter rolls to do that? Does that not bother you?
Yes. FM for 2. So if Ossoff didn't actually win, what happens? Nothing. Nothing of sort changes. American Nerd for 6. How much want to bet Thomas Massey, MTG, Bears, etc.? We'll say this is just a distraction from the Epstein in Israel. Oh, that's what Massey's saying now. He's now
Massey was
against
paid
it.
to say that. Like,
Yeah.
Massey literally went on news media and was paid by those decrepit fools that didn't actually they literally didn't broadcast this today.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm gonna pull Brandon's the documents Brandon's finding in a second. I just gotta read these other two. Marcus Holiday for 10. The SAVE Act probably passes now because of the address. What congressperson wants to vote no on it after all of this has been released? Well, because we're talking with Tom Tillis and Murkowski. That's the issue. And Bill Cassidy.
They have
And
they have nothing to lose. In
don't
Murkowski's
care.
case, she has things to lose by letting it happen.
Yeah. So America noted for 2.
Election.
Should the media lose their licenses for this? Trump said he's going to go after them for it. I don't think they're going to lose them, but
It's not an administration problem. It's bureaucrats and very incompetent congressmen that do not know what time it is problem.
Trump could fire the FCC people. I think he did actually. He could fire them now because of the Supreme Court decision.
There's just a bunch of fucking problems with this, and everybody gets queasy about it on multiple levels of government because they do not know what time it is. And yeah, no, I mean, look, listen, revoking their licenses doesn't make it impossible for them to be on the air. It just makes it more expensive. It makes them actually have to be like
Everybody
profitable
else.
companies.
All right, so here's
Instead
what
of just relying on government subsidiaries up the ass.
yeah. So here's one of the documents that Brandon posted. This is let me read this. Oh god, let me zoom in. There we go. This is from I don't know what this might be the Michigan one.
Yes, these are all related to Michigan
Okay.
itself. The Michigan files have a lot of information in them, and it was the one state that Trump specifically mentioned directly. So this is the state they focused on.
This is not, we're not talking about the most egregious states, by the way, in 2020 or what's happening in Georgia. Like what happened in Georgia and Pennsylvania, that's a different story. This is Michigan. And this is stuff nobody talks about, and this just dropped. So let me read this. As Similar Hand A initially stated that she remembered all the people on the pages, after being told that these applications appear to be fabricated, whoever it was then stated that whoever it is or whatever told all of their employees that if they couldn't get enough applications, they should just fill them in. This occurred at a meeting with over 100 employees present. One of the employees asked what this person meant. They couldn't recall if it was or whoever it was in front of the group. But whichever it was picked up a blank application and filled it out with made-up information and said, this is what I mean. This person, either whoever it was, then told them to make sure the information was filled out correctly or they wouldn't get credit for the application. They then were told that she needed to submit 7 to 8 applications per shift if working alone and 10 per shift per person if working with another employee. Jesus, so you have a whole bullshit operation in one group in Michigan. My God.
Yeah.
Did anybody check into this like for 5 years? You're telling me the FBI knew?
Yes. No, well,
Yeah.
yes, the FBI knew, the CIA knew, all of the intelligence agencies knew about this. It was kept under lock and key because guess who benefited from them doing this
Yeah, I
shit?
wonder who.
Like, who was president for 4 years ago?
Joe.
And
I
who
mean,
was...
when you
Go ahead.
Donald
think
Trump
about
won
it,
the 2020 election, so he was president.
true.
That's real.
If you think about it, let's say she's giving them 8 applications per shift. Who do you think is getting those votes? Do you think it's going to be split 4-4?
Yeah,
Both
it's
parties get those 8
4-4.
votes? Not going to happen.
Because this is a Democrat group. I think that's what Trump said. Like, this is an active Democrat organization in Michigan. And not even, the worst part is, this is not even in Detroit. I think they said the Grand Rapids area, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
This is not even the capital of the bullshit in Michigan. Everyone knows Detroit. But it's like, this is happening in Grand Rapids, I think they said. Or one of the suburbs. I think it's Muskegon, I think it's called. So, yeah.
Muskegon?
Yeah. This person was paid approximately $800 per payday. The company gave employees debit cards and lowered their pay on their cards each week. They then recall if she turned in the same number of applications each time or why she would have received the same pay for a different number of applications. Hold up, $800 per payday?
Yeah, I'm wondering how often was payday and
Yeah.
how long were they working?
Yeah, we don't have any information that I've seen on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was like horrific labor conditions or if they were overpaying. Because it mentioned earlier the 8 ballots. What if they're doing $100 per? I don't know. But
That's probably what it is.
Like, I mean, if this is since this is an organization and it's not like really like full-time work, maybe they're all working like 4-hour shifts, and that kind of makes the $800 make more sense.
Yeah, but you're talking about the Democrat Party. That's a thing. You're talking with Democrats.
So this is why they're in so much debt.
Yeah, that explains
Yeah,
it.
Democrat Party, we're the party of slavery, except now we enslave people to make fake votes.
Yeah, right here,
First
by the
they
way.
enslaved black people, then they enslave illegal aliens. Now they're enslaving
This
operatives.
this doesn't sound shady, doesn't it? The company gave employees debit cards.
I want to say something on
sorry,
this.
go on.
It's the year 2026, and if with everything that's come out, if you still don't believe that the 2020 United States presidential election was stolen by the Democrat Party, I don't know what to tell you, dog. You might just be like actually stupid, like crazy style retarded.
And anybody that, and I'm just gonna, this is shade directly at election Twitter. Any of you guys that sit there and like, tighten up your bow ties and make them all look cutesy for your Dem friends, and you sit there and you go, oh no, I would never believe that. I would never say that. I would never think that. You do that because you enjoy peer pressure, changing your opinions on issues. You are the kid in the center of the class that wants to be liked by literally everyone, but is liked by very few people. You're the kid in the class that is desperate for attention and love, and you're using your integrity on them. So you're basically destroying your own integrity for the sake of coddling up to people who hate you and
You are
would
the
rather
rape.
you be you would be they would rather you be replaced as soon as possible with someone browner and more socialist than you. So yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings like this, election Twitter. Center right Republicans. I'm
Anti-Trump
sorry.
Republicans.
But yeah, no, you're just full of shit, and you want to be liked by despicable people.
You know, the sketchy part about this is they're paying them with debit cards and freaking they're paying with cards. They're not even giving them like a check or whatever. They're like using debit cards to pay these people.
Well, something like a check is very, very trackable.
That's
It's
true.
easy to track things like checks. If you're just handing out debit cards that are reloadable, it's very difficult to track that at all. So they're able to spend their money and they can do this job on the side and they don't have to tell anyone.
All right, Jacob Martin for 5. Crazy to think that stream and address would be banned everywhere 6 years ago. Yeah, it would have been, but now it's not. So I just can't believe it. This is one group in Michigan, and nobody did anything about it. Nothing. Like, what's the spin that people are using? Oh God, people are saying the information was already released. Was it? I don't remember this ever being released, but maybe part of it was. But gift cards the easiest way to commit fraud. Well, yeah, that's the easiest way. You can hide that shit. Nobody knows who's who with that. So, so what do you guys think overall of everything being found or released?
This isn't a nothing burger, but unfortunately, and I'm saying this like regrettably,
This is a very partisan issue already.
Yeah, one, it's a very partisan issue, and two, and I guess this goes into my next point. This wasn't. I don't think this was enough of a bombshell to make people put aside their preconceived notions about how voter fraud is impossible. It doesn't happen. Every election is fair. Nothing's ever been stolen. Like these people are so fucked that it doesn't matter. It unfortunately this wasn't concrete enough for them to actually agree with it.
I think there's interesting details here and there, but I just don't know where you go from here because I don't see anything in the files so far that you could actually do much with, unless you're doing all of this to pressure Congress, which I suppose is probably the main goal. Yes. But as we mentioned earlier, we have senators in Congress who are going to put their ego above everything else. It doesn't matter if they have all the evidence in the world and they can stop it. They simply don't care.
Well, yeah, and I think you're actually right. I don't think this was done to actually convince people who were like on the fence or think that no fraud has ever happened. This was done pretty explicitly, I think, because he literally said, "Call your congressmen, call your representatives, call your senators, and tell them to pass this." He did this to put all of this information out in front of the people. That way, now the people are like, "Oh man, that's crazy." So why isn't the Senate passing voter ID again?
Because Tom Tillis is mad about January 6th.
Because Tom
Yeah.
Tillis and Lisa
Murkowski.
Murkowski, yeah, Lisa Murkowski is the big upsetteroni because she collaborates with Democrats and NGOs in Alaska to register non-voters in Alaska at illegal votes, multiple voters, multiple times, whatever the fuck, doesn't matter what kind of fraud. These people in the Senate, they literally refuse to pass voter ID because the moment that they do, they would lose their jobs. You guys need to understand that there are 4 or 5 fucking Republican senators who literally refuse to pass this shit because if they did, they would lose their job. Think about that. The Senate, one of our 2 branches of Congress, one of the 2 biggest one of the biggest institutions in the country, responsible for codifying laws, responsible for things like 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship, a big thing that we're going to have to go after in the next 10 years with Vance. They literally refuse to pass voter ID and such things because without it, they would lose their jobs. Congress is being occupied by people who are literally acting in the exact opposite interests of the people. Because if they do that, they lose their job, they lose their money, they lose their influence and power. What does that tell you about the state of American politics? What does that tell you about all of these actors who are these sensible conservatives and moderates
They're
and whatnot? And
respectable.
oh, we're the respectable conservatives and we oppose Donald Trump for Jansen. They would prefer illegals vote because they know that they would not win fair and square. That's what it is.
Here's what I will say, and this is like, it's kind of tangentially related. It's something that's like kind of just hit me suddenly. These people act like people act like Trump is unelectable. They act like Trump is unpopular. They act like MAGA is despised across the country. Like, it'd be one thing if Trump got 40% of the vote last election and got absolutely destroyed. Fine. You can abandon MAGA because MAGA's unpopular. MAGA won the popular vote. MAGA won the
First
House.
Republican
MAGA won the
yeah.
Senate. First
MAGA
Republican
is
in
such a
20
threat.
years to do it.
Yeah.
And these guys act like he's unpopular. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, MAGA is so unpopular that they literally had to steal the second time it was on the national ballot, and it won outright on the third time.
And if this wasn't because of third-party candidates, Trump would have probably done better without the other people on the ballot, which is just funny. But like this idea that like, oh guys, we need to go back to Reagan. Honest question. There's how many voters in America each presidential election? Like roughly
About 140 million, 150 million.
honest question. How many people alive that voted for Reagan still vote today? They're alive.
How many people who voted for
Serious
Reagan
question.
were Democrat voters that are still party line Democrat votes?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Part of the reason Reagan won is because he was so good at utilizing fucking Democrats who were incredibly dissatisfied with Carter and the liberal wing of the Democrat Party.
But like, it's a serious question. How many people are still alive that voted for Reagan? It's been what, 40 years? 45 years?
If you were 18 in 1980, right? That would make you about
60.
62. 62 would be the year that you were born. And that's the cutoff age for boomers. Like that's like 62, 65. It's like the last year that boomers. So very small portion. That's the largest population, right? So you got about 62, 63. You got like 4 years worth of boomers. And then everybody else is Gen X. And then like
They're old and they're too young.
Anybody older than that, they're just we're keeping them alive, but they're getting fewer and fewer every day. But yeah, no, I think the big thing in terms of like we were talking about Senate politics, I do know that we're getting an announcement soon from a Democrat. It's going to be excitedly reported. Everybody's speculating that Fetterman's either going to become an independent or flip Republican, anticipating changes in the Senate caucus going into 27, which, I mean, everybody should anticipate Senate changes in 27 because literally, if you count JD and Rubio, which you shouldn't, but counting them, there's like a 13 senator shift from 24 to 27, 11 if you don't. So almost a quarter of all Republican senators are being switched out. Not all of those are rhinos, but the idea that fresh blood is coming into the Republican Senate, it can change the dynamics of it drastically. Obviously, that doesn't help for this particular reconciliation bill, which, if Murkowski and Tillis are against it, you'd have to get like Cornyn and Cassidy and like all these other dingbats to go along with it, which doesn't seem very viable. But, good news is, regardless of how things shake out, um, if we retain the Senate going into 27 and we can get some House Democrats to turncoat, we could theoretically get it passed in the second half, even if the Dems take the
Well,
House.
Yeah, the rumor is I'm hearing Swazi's going to flip parties. Maybe not Republican, but he's going to lead the Democrats in the House.
Who?
Tom Swazi.
Tom
Oh.
Swazi, he's
I've
one
heard
of
about.
the,
I've
yeah,
heard
you know.
that's the rumor. It's a bit,
I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
I'm
And
not
we
saying
talked about this quite
I'm not
often.
saying
No,
it's
no,
a
no, no.
flip, but
Okay, let me say this.
okay.
The thing with people like Tom Swazi and John Fetterman and the other Long Island Democrat whose name is slipping me because I do not care for her, all of these people, honestly, even if they do go, man, socialism bad, I don't like Mamdani or socialism, I'm going to become an independent, 90% chance that they still caucus with Democrats.
Well,
They're
no,
still
no,
going to
it's
vote
not
the
about
same.
that. We're talking still about Save America, and Fetterman explicitly stated his main problems with Save America were like some crap about mail-in voting and blah 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 disabilities. I think that's a bunch of bullshit, he said, because he's forced by the Democrat Party, the Democrat whip, to say that. I think Fetterman would vote yes on the Save America Act if he was independent.
Well, a lot of Democrats. No, obviously, there's more of the establishment types that are so entrenched that they're not wanting to lose their jobs. But I think they're like people don't really understand. This is just kind of the nature of politics. Republicans vote more conservative than they honestly would normally, and Democrats vote more liberal than they honestly would because the
Well,
party whip is such a big thing. Voter ID. Let's be honest, they do support voter ID. They have to pretend not to because they have to pretend that black people can't get an ID or whatever. But a lot of them do, just straight up.
yeah.
All right.
No, I like I said, I said this a couple years ago, but I'll repeat it for anybody that not. I'm not sad. I'm just a little buzzed. I'm a little drunk. No, somebody said that in the comments. What was I going to say? I was going to say the Democrat whip is like a European whip. Like basically, you do what I say, or else we financially ruin you, we electorally ruin you, we drop your support, we evict you, and that's the kind of pressure that Fetterman's under, and that's a lot of Democrats are under. And Republicans, it's really funny. The Senate Majority Leader, former whip, has his own whip in Barrasso. For some reason, just can't get stuff done.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder
No.
why.
It's really pathetic, but we're hoping that in light of Lindsey Graham's death, in light of a lot of other things going on, that things change. And if look, here's the silver lining. If Thune does not change his tune, number one, we're gonna have a dramatically different Republican Senate next year. Number
He's gonna
two,
get forced down in 28.
Number
Those
two,
raids.
John Thune will become the first Senate Majority Leader that will lose his reelection.
His primary.
His
I should
primary.
say.
There's been a couple majority leaders go down to the general.
Actually, the person that he defeated to win his first term
yeah,
was
he
the
got
majority leader.
Yeah, that's right.
A Senate majority leader has never lost his primary before.
Oh, okay. So it's the general election, or
yeah, in the
primary.
general, it's
Primary,
happened
because
once.
This is something I've said. I've said before. Especially if you're from like a state nobody cares about, like South Dakota, there is a large incentive to keep someone that you may think isn't conservative or liberal enough, depending on your party, but are okay with them because, hey, they're from my state. My state has the Senate Majority Leader or the House Speaker or this and that. John Thune, I think, is unpopular enough that he may be so unpopular with South Dakotans that they may say, I don't care. I don't care that the majority leader is from my state. You are so terrible. You are so incapable of passing legislation that I voted for. Whenever I voted for Trump and whenever I voted for you in 2022, that I don't care if the majority leader is from South Dakota or Texas or wherever. I don't want you in power anymore. I want someone better.
We did. I mean, we would. I mean, look, if fucking Cornyn had been Senate Majority Leader, that would have happened to him.
Yeah, he would have lost.
Oh, he
I mean,
would've
seriously.
killed.
He lost by what, 27 points? I don't care if he's majority leader. He still loses by over 10.
I would be happy with sacrificing Texas's power in the United States Senate and influence if it meant we actually got fucking voter ID passed. This is an issue, this is such a fucking issue that everyone I think everyone is at the point where it's like, yeah, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to do this to get this passed. This isn't even an 80-20 issue. This is a 90-10 issue.
All right, got some super chats to catch up to. Veritas for 5. USMCA 2001, 2005. Longtime listener, first time super chat. Keep up the good work, you sons of bitches. Semper Fi. Hey, thanks for so much for the super chat for 5.
Semper Fi, Marine, from the Army.
Tristan for 5. If y'all care so much about pass the SAVE Act, getting 60 votes isn't reaching 28. We have to be smart and focus on issues people care about. I get that, but guys, this is nonsensical. This is a 90-10 issue. We're not talking about some super controversial thing.
No.
If this was a 50-50 issue, that's one thing. This is 90-10 in every poll.
And here's what pisses me off so much about this whole thing.
Give me 1 second. We are literally the only first world democracy, and unfortunately, we are a democracy, much to my chagrin. We are the only first world democracy. We're the only superpower. We're the only fucking country in the West, like the civilized West. I'm not talking about, oh, it's a European country like Russia or Serbia. No, we're the only first world country. We're the only European / Euro diaspora country that does not require voter ID in elections. Let me look it up. Yeah, you go ahead and say something while I look this up.
So what I was going to say is it's interesting because Democrats, they'll go on the, like, I've seen debates on this. They'll go on the Senate floor and they'll talk about how I support voter ID, but I don't support this and this because of women that get married have different blah, 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 blah. But they never offer any amendments. So despite being in favor of voter ID and wanting voter ID and wanting to secure our elections, for some reason, they won't amend the SAVE Act to like fix whatever issue they have a problem with. They won't introduce their own standalone voter ID. Because here's the thing, Democrats could right now introduce a standalone voter ID act.
Pass immediately.
And pass it immediately. And it would pass the House, it would pass the Senate. Like, I'm sure Republicans would want it to go a little further than what they would introduce. They would want to limit what counts as voter ID and blah, 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 blah. But they don't. And why is that? Why do they refuse to even attempt to work with Republicans? To even attempt to work with Trump? To even attempt to work in favor of getting a voter ID bill passed? Because they don't actually support it, because they've only been elected because of voter fraud.
It's like Murkowski. She has issues with it, but it's like, again, she never offers an amendment. And Mike Lee tried to work with her, and she refused to work with him.
Let Tyrone go real quick.
Sorry. Yeah.
So I looked it up. Here's the map. Very, very interesting map. My good friend Ye. Here, my good friend Ye. I will let you look at this. The black countries here, so Canada, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, they don't require any form that, like, they just don't have voter ID, period. United States, Mexico, India, France, Switzerland, Austria, the Nordic states, Ireland, non-compulsory voter identity. India, Japan, non-compulsory identification. You want to know what an issue with every single country I just listed? Also, the Netherlands and Italy have compulsory, de facto compulsory. You know what the issue with all those countries is? Every single country I just listed? What's happening to them right now? Mass importation of third worlders. What's happening there? The colossal rising tide of Islam, of communism, of socialism, bio-Leninism is actively taking place in these countries, except for India, which is already a place forsaken by God himself almighty. Bless their hearts. Every single fucking country there that is having an issue right now doesn't have fucking compulsory voter ID. Granted, those are really the only real democracies. They're required on Eastern Europe countries. They're required in Germany. This is an issue that is uniquely being faced outside, like, Germany, where every single one of these countries facing mass immigration problems. doesn't have compulsory voter ID. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about the people running these countries? What does that tell you about the opponents of people? Like the people in these countries that are opponents of that. What does that tell you, John? What does that tell you?
I'm gonna say bad words, so I won't say anything.
What does that tell you, Yay?
I'm also drunk.
No, it was literally just like I felt woozy enough in my head. I was like, wow, if I give a response to this, I'm gonna say all the bad words that shouldn't be said on the stream. Anyways, yeah, no, it's awful. It's terrible. And you know, with all these countries that we've been discussing that are, you know, captivated by bioleninism, like
Thank you.
Tyrone is saying. Um,
Yeah, my name's Clay. Hurrah. Okay, don't call me that. Call me Tyrone, guys.
Tyrone, yeah, no. With what Tyrone is saying explicitly is just that uh, the wave has to be reversed in these countries, but that's not our problem. Our problem is the United States. The United States has to have these secure elections. We have to be able to do this fairly. And like I was saying this earlier in the stream, but it's just literally you don't have to. It's not a matter of what you thought happened in the past, even though you're retarded if you don't believe what we said happened in the past. It's about what you want to happen in the future, what you want to be possible to happen in the future. If you want to make it impossible for any of this shit to happen in the future, then we need to be able to support and we need to be able to push it and finish this up. You know what? I'm actually getting more drunk than I thought I was. But yeah, we need to pass all
hold
this
up.
shit.
I'm gonna grab some fucking cognac. I'm gonna join you, motherfucker. I have fine, fruity ass cognac from Baku, Azerbaijan. Cheers.
You know what I
Yeah,
have?
cheers.
I
Bro.
have 100 proof Evan Williams bottled in bond, the most glow tier garbage to ever exist.
Okay, let me catch up on some good old super chats. Where are we at? There we go. Ash for 5. Yeah, Trump second term's a wash. Democrats taking the Senate. Current prediction: Telrico plus 0.2, Jackson plus 3, Cooper plus 8, Patola plus 1. Okay, El Sadver plus 5. I don't think that's gonna happen. But thanks for super chat.
What polling is it?
If you think Talerico, not Talerico, Taylor Tale. If you think Talerico's winning in Texas, there's no way.
JD Vance called him
There's no way
Tellerico once.
There's no way Rick Jackson is winning by 3 in Georgia, but Talerico wins by 0.2.
I think he's talking with Troy Jackson in Maine.
Oh, Troy
He may not be the nominee, by the way. There's a chance he does get the nomination.
Well, he probably isn't, because as far as I know, this is a convention.
Yeah, it's a convention. And you got Janet Mill types there.
Yeah, it's a bunch of establishment types. They may not want to go for another like DSA's like progressive type, especially one who has allegations of throwing a water bottle at a woman during an argument. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna go with probably, what was her name, Shannon Bellows, I think. She ran against Susan Collins in 2014. She's now the current Secretary of State for Maine. She's probably their most normie option.
Okay, more super chats catch up to. Doggle for 2. Tiller should go visit Ukraine. Okay, Daniel Strange for 5. Trump, give a speech. Black pillars. Old Trump does his talk. Me, yeah, that's what a speech is. Oh look, deportations and investigations are up. Yeah, that's. I hate when people say that, guys. Trump talks. Yes, he's a president. Presidents talk a lot, except Joe Biden because he's dead. But Zachary Gallagher for 10. Thune is the best GOP leader ever known. He has been around since oh good lord.
Is that the fucking Canadian Pakistani who said that? Okay, no, that's not. Okay,
no,
sorry,
Thune
Zachary Gallagher. There's this motherfucker on Twitter. Yeah, there's this motherfucker on Twitter who goes by the name John Thunestan, who's like this 31-year-old Pakistani on disability living with his parents in Canada, and he will say, "Oh, voter ID's not what's the word? Voter ID is not supported. John Thune is doing the greatest fucking job of any
Thune
Senate majority leader in order to secure our elections."
Let me read this, Tyrone. Thune is the best GOP leader ever known. He has been around since Bush, knows what he's doing. He works still with Democrats. Thune has not been the greatest GOP leader.
I don't want
that's just pure trolling. Either pure trolling or pure retard. Call it. Let's make bets.
Right,
retard.
Wait, what was it?
Retard. Oh my god! Everyone, shut up. Everyone, right guy for 2. I'm drunk as a skunk. I don't give a fuck. Kyle for 5. In Scotland, there's a guy on a student visa that got elected. You don't even need to be a citizen of the country. Wait, what? A dude on a
Excuse me?
visa got elected, apparently.
Oh,
So,
you don't know about the Indian migrant in Scotland who got elected to represent a constituency in Glasgow?
no.
Dude, there was this Indian Muslim Pakistani in Scotland who he's on a visa. He's not a citizen. He's just he's on a student visa. The Scottish
So he's not a
Nationalist
permanent
Party
resident?
ran him. No, he's not a permanent resident. The Scottish Nationalist Party ran him and he won that election, and he's already advocating for like importing Indian and Islamic migrants into Scotland. Like I I can feel the Know Nothing Party like rotating in its fucking grave in the ground right now, like rolling around.
I can rotate a Know Nothing Party in my head.
The Know Nothing Party, like, they went crazy against, like, the freaking Europeans.
Okay, this is a quick thing for chat, by the way. Do me a favor. Take a photorealistic apple and rotate it in your head, please.
And now I want you to imagine how you would feel if you did not have that apple for breakfast this morning.
Yeah. How would you feel if you did not have breakfast this morning, chat? This is a very important question. Please
Gosh.
answer honestly.
Okay, one more thing. Dark Helm has been a member for 4 months. Thune, Langford, Young, and Murkowski are 28 targets. I think 3 of them go down. Thune is screwed. Langford's get forced out. Young, he's trying to save his ass. I don't think he's going to win, though. And Murkowski, she's the only one because the system they got up there.
Oh.
So...
I want to say something though. We were talking about Scotland electing like non-citizens. Canada just released 8 years worth of their annual fossil fuel CO2 emissions through poor forest management because they made it illegal to actually manage forests up there. Anyways, my point is, like Canada, Scotland, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, the rest of the Anglosphere is completely fucked in terms of elections. We are not fucked, but we can fix ourselves. We can prevent ourselves from being screwed over in the long run if we get this if we get this right.
What's happening in Canada is just depressing. Like they weren't like this even like 10 years ago. And now look at them now. They can't even manage a forest fire.
It's very interesting that the people who are like environmentalists and they trust the science, they trust the experts, and yet they seem to not know that controlled forest fires are a real thing that you're actually supposed to do. Like you're supposed to do brush control. You're supposed to do controlled burns. You are supposed to do these things. But they go, forest fire. Oh my God.
Well, it's a combination of
forest fire.
Well, they're just so incompetent. They really think, oh no, if we have no like fossil fuels, well, no forest fires. It's like, you fucking idiots, when it gets hot outside and there's a bunch of brush.
Okay, if America went carbon neutral tomorrow, it would drop carbon emissions by 15%.
Wow.
15%. So America decimates its own economy, decimates its own energy prices, just decides suddenly no more fossil fuels. It's only going to be the one nuclear plant we still have running and then a bunch of fucking solar panels. And we lower it by 15% because the developing world, the third world, is the dirtiest economy, or they have the dirtiest economies in the entire world. They pump smog everywhere.
And the point to everyone should be, we cede power to those very same people that are destroying the environment, the global environment, under your pretensions, or not pretensions, under your presuppositions. That's the word I was looking for. Under the eco-fascists' presupposition of how the world works, China is literally genociding the entire world. And no, you can't fix that by forcing all of the countries that want to behave into poverty, destitution, destruction. No, actually giving control, giving the keys of the world over to the people that you think are destroying the environment does not save the environment.
To me, it's just crazy to think it's like America's been like very conscious about the environment for a long time now. And it's like we're somewhat
Al Gore.
Yeah, it's like we've been actually caring about the environment for decades. Meanwhile, you have China and India, like they're pumping shit into the air and the water. They don't care. They're building how many coal plants they build a day at this point?
They build a shit ton of them. And hey guys, this is a pop quiz for both the chat and the people in this call.
Hold up. John Ratcliffe, CIA director, has posted something.
He posted a thing.
To support President Trump's transparency, protecting our democracy.
No, not
That's
that
from a
line.
Republican. And the integrity of our elections from foreign influence and interference remains paramount. This is why we produced key intelligence reporting showing Venezuela's government had developed capabilities to manipulate electronic voting systems, rather raising serious concerns for the United States election infrastructure security. I have long publicly highlighted China's nefarious efforts to influence the 2020 election against Trump, as evidenced by my dissent to the flawed Jan 6, 2021 Intelligence Community Assessment. The documents declassified today shed light on China's actions. These patterns public scrutiny, ensuring our democracy's foundation, the security and confidence in our elections is unassailable. TI Director John Radcliffe.
Yeah, so basically just confirmation that China's doing shit.
China and Venezuelans. Hey guys,
Venezuela.
Let me go back to my old point. Pop quiz. Who makes all of the solar panels and solar panel components that are used in America? What country is that?
Not all China, but most of the ones being purchased are China.
China.
It's important for chat and most people to understand that the Chinese solar panels being brought over here deteriorate, damage the soil that they're built over, and in general are cheaper and less effective, destroy quicker than any of the solar panels produced by the rest of the world. They literally offer these solar panels at a discount in exchange for the purchase of American agricultural soil or other soil, but mostly they go to these ag farms that don't make much of a profit in the first place, that are already heavily subsidized and can't even barely make ends meet, and they go, "Hey guys, do you want to like actually live a comfortable life and sell all of your land to China in exchange for crappy solar panels?" They say yes. And I'm sorry to say this, but China actively destroys our country, our soil, our capacity to self-sustain over long periods of time through this procedure.
I want to
Again, it's not one of those things that destroys the country overnight. But if we let this happen for 100 years, if we let this happen over 100 years, it will be immeasurable, indescribable damage done to our entire country.
You know, I have a chart for this. Like, you want demonstration, everything that went wrong with America. This chart right here. This is the electricity generation by major energy source from 1950 to 2023. Do you guys notice anything odd that happened in the mid 2000s with energy production? Anything strange?
Let's take a look.
Anything at all that happened? And by the way, this is total amount. Anything weird?
This is the chart that destroyed West Virginia, by the way.
Yeah. There's two things that's noteworthy. West Virginia got fucked over. But the other big thing is, despite all the amount of money and resources and garbage we poured into the solar panels and wind turbines and shit, their share of the amount of electricity generated has not gone up significantly. And in total,
hey, it's you, Core.
Electricity generation in America, guess what? It has been flatlined for 20 years. Even though the population's gone up by over 60 million people in the last 20 years?
70 million people, something like that.
Here's something that people don't understand, and I've said this once before on the stream, but I'll say it again for anyone who didn't hear. We do offer subsidies to oil drillers and natural gas companies. We do it so that they will continue producing in our country on our land, because they could move to other places and make more profit. But what we do is we feed them a little bit of money so that they'll stay on our soil and keep looking for resources here. And the point that I'm going to make with this compared to renewables is the subsidies we offer to oil and natural gas companies actually turn a massive profit in tax revenue return. There's a major return of interest on those projects to the federal government, as opposed to whenever the renewables are given these Biden's giant green new plan. We literally just did this, guys. We literally just did this 2021 through 2025.
Yeah, look at this.
Okay. And jack shit happened.
Yeah, and guys, look at this. Natural gas is the only reason that we did not have a fucking rolling blackouts. If it was for natural gas,
did fucking nothing.
Like, look at this. Like, renewables hasn't changed despite Obama, despite Biden, jack shit happened. The only reason we did not have a crash in the generation is because natural gas. Can you imagine for a second if the insane regulations went through and they gutted the natural gas industry in America? Can you imagine how bad of a situation we'd be in right now?
It would be really bad, and we're becoming the world's largest exporter. We just surpassed
Yeah.
Russia in terms of was it LNG exports or was it oil exports?
It was oil exports.
Oil.
Yeah, in terms of oil exports, we just surpassed Russia. We're becoming a monster, which we always were meant to be in terms of energy export. If you want to quote unquote save the environment, you will let the worser materials, the less environmentally friendly materials be refined and produced in this fucking country and not in these shitty developing countries. You would let us make their energy for them and then become the most ardent, like religiously
So
ardent supporter of nuclear energy domestically.
I would also argue, when you think about it for 5 seconds, you want to know why we're dealing with so much inflation right now? This is part of it. Think about it for 5 seconds.
immigrants.
Well, immigration, of course. That's the number one thing.
No immigrants.
Well,
I blame
gosh.
immigrants for everything, but like unironically.
Like,
Tyrone, I think you're a little too drunk.
No.
yeah, but like, think about this for a second. What do you need in a modern civilization? Like, you need food, water, all that stuff. What's another big thing? Electricity. If everything is expensive for electricity, what do you think happens? Cost for everything else goes up. So, yeah, this is why this is a problem. And I can't believe no one's talking about this, though Trump has reversed this with the oil production. But there needs to be way more production of energy in America because this is a joke. I don't realize it's bad.
That's part of the reason why Trump has been pushing for nuclear. There's a lot of reasons why Trump's pushing for nuclear. Data centers are a big thing. He just came out as pro data center the other day, which was really fantastic. Like,
yeah, we gotta talk about that.
there is absolutely no reason we should not be building fucking nuclear facilities, coal production like, we need to let the American energy beast go beast mode. I'm sorry for the Zoomer-fied language, but that's what it is. Like,
Well,
all of
We
the,
need
so
to
much
be
shit can
building.
be solved by cheap energy. I'm sorry.
We need to, like, bare minimum be building, because these projects take 5 to 10 years depending on what type of reactor you're building. We need to be building
everything.
two reactors for every single state on average. We should be building 100 reactors every cycle, every 4 to 5 years.
I
every
actually
5
agree
to
with
10
that.
years.
Like, because nuclear is like that. Like, everyone knows now it's the best form of energy by far. But remember, you know why we didn't convert fully to nuclear?
Because
Jews.
normies are fucking scared of what happened with 3 Mile
Yeah.
Island, and they're like, oh, it's the nuclear, like people are stupid and they're not scientists, and letting people have opinions was a mistake.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
I see some people in chat saying that they're under 18 for having dumb arguments in the comments. But hey, listen, guys under 18 in the chat, listen to me right now. You're smart. You want to go into STEM or whatever. Become a nuclear engineer. That is a field filled to the brim with a small pool of 20 and 30-year-olds and a giant pool of 50 and 60-year-olds. Go become a nuclear engineer, learn everything you can from those old pieces of shit, and then turn America into a nuclear powerhouse. Okay?
Which it should be, which Nixon was trying to do before Watergate showed up. Which, funny how that works. But anyways,
we need so many nuclear engineers. It's not even funny. We need you. You're listening right now. You don't know what to do in life. You're a patriot. You love the country, and you're smart enough to be an engineer. Nuclear engineering.
it's
okay?
like, and by the way, like the same arguments they used about nuclear back in the 70s and stuff, the same shit with data centers. And I know data centers, there are concerns, but like now you got New York shutting down old data centers or new construction of data centers. It's oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
I interrupted you, but I just want to say this is kind of important. Nuclear is maybe one of the most frustrating policies like of the day, just because it is people who do not know what they're talking about, who do not understand anything about nuclear outside of Chernobyl, 5 Mile Island, Fukushima.
20 Mile Island. It's 20 Mile Island now.
I'll also say this. I'm not telling you to go enlist, but If you don't want to do college, if you don't want to deal with college, but you want to do nuclear related stuff, study for your ASVAB. You can make a fuck ton of money doing nuclear work for the United States Navy. You'll get a top secret clearance. I have one of those. Very useful for a lot of things. And then that education will translate into 2 or 3 years worth of like college credits, so you'd only have to go to college for at most 4 semesters, and then you can go work civilian side, and you can fuck off to the middle of nowhere in fucking Nebraska or South Dakota or Nevada, working a fucking plutonium plant or something.
67 Mile Island. Well, yeah,
Six,
but just,
seven.
just like, I hope people understand, like, data centers are not a new thing. AI data centers are, but it's like, you guys do realize how the internet functions, right? You need data centers.
It's a series of tubes.
We need data centers, and you may realize the reason that we're so strongly for this. Listen, there are extremely rational reasons that I'm not going to explain while drunk to explain why we need to support data centers. But what I can explain to you while being drunk is that you need to understand our adversaries severely support, actively fund to the tunes of millions, tens of millions of dollars.
Millions.
Propaganda against data centers. Propaganda against data centers.
Some journalists found out that all these data centers they shut down because like people like these activists, every single one of them were funded by either the Cuban government or the Chinese government. Gee, I wonder why. That doesn't mean there aren't valid concerns. There are concerns with data centers that should be addressed. And even then, most of these data centers are addressing them. Like the water situation, like the energy situation.
Yeah, here are the concerns with data centers, and I'll lay out all the arguments that I think are even remotely rational. One, those fuckers are loud.
That's a real concern.
If you've ever been near a data center, I mean, it's like having a train constantly fucking like go past you. If it was next to your house. So they need to be in secluded areas, or at the very least, they need to be in areas that are not neighborhoods. Because those fuckers will actually keep you up at night if you're close enough.
That is a reasonable concern, by the way. That's one concern I agree with. Like, they should not be in a neighborhood with 1,000 people. Like, no, it should be out in God knows where. But
2 is the water thing. And the water thing is really only an issue when you have a problem with it's not regulated properly to where it's actually contaminating groundwater. That isn't really like a data center issue. That is just like a technology issue. You build something somewhere, it might cause harm. It doesn't harm water. It doesn't pollute the water just as a byproduct of existing. They have to do something wrong with that. That's issue number 2. Issue 3 is something that Trump has been very adamant about, is making sure that we do not allow them to increase prices for Americans, for regular consumers, because they require a lot of energy, and sometimes that gets passed on to consumers.
That's bullshit.
That is the concern. And the 4th one is, of course, how much the Chinese are influencing it, how much the Chinese are putting into this, because a lot of these data centers are owned by the Chinese. They're not owned by American companies. They're not owned by American business people.
That's why
they're owned by the Chinese.
That one I never hear about. But
well, because the only people who oppose it are either slopulists who just go data centers, data center bad, or it's fucking tree huggers who throw a fit if electricity is used, or if water has a potential.
Meanwhile,
maybe be contaminated.
Meanwhile, they're streaming shit on their phone. It's like, I hope you realize how the internet works.
Meanwhile, they're buying fucking Chinese solar panels that are dog shit and pollute the environment.
Destroys the environment,
and also oppose nuclear power and all.
And then they're streaming like Moist Critical or whatever. It's like, you do realize how that works, right? Do you think there's an actual sky thing, like a skybox for the internet? Yeah. But he said like the data centers, and he had some weird shit about it. It's like, really? Again, you can have valid concerns with data centers. I do. Everyone here does too. Just address them then. Like with nuclear, they address these issues one by one. And guess what? Nuclear turned out just fine.
Nuclear is the most regulated, and I would say over-regulated. If you would allow me to say that, it is over-regulated. It is the most regulated energy source in the entire country. The amount of hoops you have to jump through just to build one is fucking insane.
Just to plan one, actually.
Just to plan one, just to like put the blueprints out, to like look for a place to put one. It is a shit show. It sucks. And it still ends up being a very cost-effective, a very environmentally clean, And I'm sorry, nuclear is a big thing for me. I'm a huge fan of nuclear. And
Hey, no,
I just
hey,
hate.
hey! You can't say the N word on stream.
Sorry.
You can't say the N word on stream.
Okay.
You know, Rap, this might have been a bad decision. We're three Southerners that are drunk. We're gonna drop it
Okay,
eventually. Dude.
let me just read the super chats and let's get out of here. Wait, what?
No, we're just laughing.
Okay, let me just read the super chats. I got a bunch of catch up too. Just let me read through these. Zachary Gallagher for 10. Thune is great. Thune is best Tom. Another Senate Majority Leader. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Ben Ballway for 2. Canada will be a bigger border crisis than Mexico. That's a valid concern. That is an issue.
Yes.
Gallagher for 5. Sorry, I meant to say beat Tom, not the best. Okay. Right guy for 5. It's sad because I've been to Canada. The western part of Canada is gorgeous. Yeah, what happened to Canada is depressing.
Well, Canada's beautiful. It really should have been. Honestly, I mean, my personal opinion is it should have been, should have been integrated into America or annexed way back.
We had a chance in the War of 1812 in it.
We had a chance to do it, and we didn't because we're cucked. Anyways, now it's a shithole. In it as it stands now, Canada is functionally just it's just an overseas department of East Asia. It's just Chinese and Indian people that live there now. There are no Canadians.
I feel bad for the actual Canadians that didn't vote for
I feel bad for the 30% of the country that would be Republicans here, and I don't feel bad for those 70%.
Yeah.
Especially the conservatives in Canada.
The Alberta conservatives.
Alberta conservatism.
They don't piss around.
Who would vote for fucking Mondani before they would ever vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah. All right. More super chats. BB for 5. Democrats still too bullish on the Senate. Maine is likely going Republican. And people seem to be awfully trusting about Alaska polling in Texas too. Yeah, Alaska polling's garbage. Throw it out. Mason Dixon for 5 or for 10. Qatar's may be worse, but they won't be addressed. They work with China and Iran. They're funding the commie Islamist shit. They give 20 times more every year for Islamic expansion. Well, yeah, but Qatar's Qatar. We have to fight the Chinese first.
I want to explain a concept to the chat that's really important to my personal life, actually not just to politics, but to my spiritual existence, to just everything. And this is about polls because you're talking about polling.
Polling? Oh my God! No, not the polls.
I don't want to talk about polls. I don't want to go back to East Europe.
There are people
that
there are people that blindly believe literally everything that they're told, and then there's people that blindly reject everything that they're told. You see these people all across the world, but when it comes to polling and when it comes to a lot of things in life, you have to be able to accept information, process information, and be able to hold it in your hand mentally and not accept it as true or false instantaneously. And that's the thing with polling. Polling could be full of shit at any given moment for any given reason that you are not privy to. And you only really figure out why a poll was full of shit in the retrospective after the election has happened. So you need to accept with humility that you don't know which polls are full of shit and you don't know which polls are right on the money, basically until November. And then afterwards, maybe you get slightly better at telling the difference between the polls that are stupid and the polls that are good. But when you look at these polls, everybody's trusting Alaska polls. Everybody's trusting Titan. No, I don't think you should trust them. You shouldn't blindly reject them, but just learn to process information without blindly accepting or rejecting it. Okay, that's my homework for all of you.
Yeah, and this is something I will say, and it sounds stupid to say it, but I mean it is true. I'll trust your gut instinct on certain things. If polling seems off, it probably is. I've had entirely vibes-based fucking election predictions that have been more accurate than 538. Because sometimes the data is wrong, and you look at it and go, "Man, that's fucking retarded." Obviously, that's not correct. Obviously,
you're telling me
obviously, Harris isn't winning Iowa by 3.
No, she's winning Iowa. That's a gold standard.
Yeah, obviously, blah blah blah. If the gold standard can still be wrong sometimes, especially when it's a result so baffling that you can just tell, no, this is very clearly an outlier. This is very clearly not accurate. do not blindly believe polling and understand that, like, even if it's accurate a lot of the time, if you get a result that goes, man, that's fucking
It's
stupid, it
bullshit.
probably is.
All right.
So there's this amazing thing. So as you know, we've been around for at least 100,000 years. Not necessarily humans as we are, but through the evolutionary process and whatnot.
Well,
There's
well,
shut the
hold
fuck
on.
up. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, shut your fucking papist mouth up. I'm talking. Anyway, as I
My
was talking.
gosh.
I don't fucking care right now. So there's this amazing thing. Because we've had over 100,000 years of evolution and evolutionary instincts baked in, this amazing thing we have called intuition and like our gut instinct, like that's just not you going, oh, I'm a fun big. Oh, I don't think it no right, man. No, trust your fucking instinct on that shit. You have condensed into your genetics so many fucking thousands of years of this doesn't seem right to me. So if something doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. I just wanted to piggyback off of Ye. I don't apologize for calling you a papist, by the way. Fuck you. Anyway, as you were.
Bro got so drunk he reverted to 19th century politics. Oh my gosh.
As you were.
Okay, Jacko Max for 5. They're allowed. The biggest problem is they are big ugly blocks. I feel like if they made them not look terrible would help. That's actually a good point. It's like when you look at data centers, it's like it's a fucking cube. Like
they're uggy, and like I hate to say that, but like they're uggy, and the average American will like something more if you make it look if you dress it up, you make it look all cutesy and shit. Because the American people are retarded.
No, just
people, they're retarded.
Just do Art Deco, like Jacko Max said. Go back.
The only kind of things Americans don't like pretty is Alex Pretty. But trust me, Hood Action News loves Alex Pretty.
Okay,
oh god.
Kirk still on that. I'm still on that shit, bro.
Kirk for 2. The Simpsons did so much damage in nuclear. Yeah, that's true. Object Clays Cater for 2. But the polls are base rap. We trust the polls. Thank you. Okay.
How base were the polls in 24, by the way? I know he's joking, but I'm just like...
the polls. I don't know.
How base were the polls?
I don't know. I was at basic training, man. Tell me.
I remember singing a song about Trump +2. I don't know what happened with that, by the way. Did Trump get +2?
I think so. He
Art Deco, Frutiger Arrow, Renaissance architecture, straw houses, whatever the hell other than liberalism.
Straw houses.
Art Deco, American Gothic, Southern Gothic. Bring back Southern Gothic. Holy shit! I need a manor on the riverside, y'all.
Yeah. So, and by the way, with like these kind of architectural trends and in other cultural trends, a lot of people go back and go, "Oh my gosh, if you start LARPing as another era, oh my gosh, you want colonial influenced housing, you want Art Deco, you want Art Deco
because it's
buildings,
good.
you want all this other stuff.
It works fine.
Oh, you're a LARPer. You have no. Listen.
You like beautiful things? You're a fucking LARPer, dude. You have to live in a world full of fucking gray and ugliness. You have to be demoralized. You have to hate beauty.
Why fix something that isn't broken? Seriously, why? Like, if you want to have a certain style, fine. But like, when was the last time we had good architecture in America?
Whenever Trump built something, actually.
Trump built stuff.
I want you guys to remember what is the literal definition and what was the trend in the Renaissance, the Renaissance. What were they doing?
Revival.
What were they doing? If you feel that the architecture and other cultural aspects of your country are worn, broken down, and lost, you don't have to magically make up new things. You go back into the well of beautiful and well done things in the past. You iterate on them until something new appears. That's what you do.
That's what we've been doing for years. And then just suddenly, oh no, everything's a block. Everything's a square. It's fucking hideous.
I've this is super personal, but I cannot think of purchasing a house that has modernistic, layouts, like the super pristine white marble kitchen
Ugh.
counters and the like almost black and white painting. Like they do like 10 different shades
I
of
got a perfect
eggshell
tweet for
white
this.
on the fucking walls and everything. Like, I like modern appliances. I am not anti-technology. I'm extremely pro-technology. I love modern accoutrements in my
Can you
housing.
imagine if we
But
had
but all the shit that they put next to it, the paint and the cabinets and everything else is ugly and disgusting.
this is a perfect example. I've been sensitive about this, like America's decline in 2 images. Everyone remembers Drake and Josh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This right here
Hold on, real
is
quick. Real Arkansan politics, and I just wanted to say this man's name because there's a lot of confusion on this. It's not Arkansas, it's Arkansas. Fuck you.
okay, but okay. So here,
Anyways, you were.
this image, right? These 2 images should depress everybody. So everyone knows Drake and Josh. This was the show. This was the house during the show run. Okay, nice. It actually looks livable. It looks cozy. And this is what they did to it. They rebuilt it. Look
Goy
at this.
housing. Oh my god.
Let's just be honest, because
Oh my
I'm sure
Israel.
if some of you kids aren't familiar, they had a word for Soviet architecture that you saw called
Shit.
brutalist architecture. And brutalist architecture was gray concrete slabs, extremely geometrical housing and government buildings. And the point, like literally, the point was to sap all culture and humanity out of these buildings and make them purely materialistic and utilitarian. When I look at the Drake and Josh house that Rap just posted, it literally just makes me think this is what brutalist architecture would look like in a first world developed country.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. Like, what was wrong with this
kind of
house?
architecture is this?
What? How do you go from this house? What's wrong with it? I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the issue? You don't like the color? Okay, just fucking paint it something different. What's the issue here? It's nice. It's clean. And compare it to this. There's nothing. It's just a white square.
Look at how much more interesting. Like let's think about it from like a psychological, like a phenomenological standpoint. You look at the old house. There's just contrasting colors. The red layered brick going up to the white doors with, like, the slightly off color.
Yeah, the beige.
Like the beige outside and the black roofing. But throughout the entire thing, there is a cohesive design motif. You can see the decorative engravings on the windows to the front door. The windows aren't all the same shape, but they make sense for the spaces they're being used for. And like, this house has what I would call character. It
That's
looks
what I
like
was looking
and feels
for.
like it was made by human beings for human
To
beings.
live.
To live in. And like obviously, I know that that big window on the left side either is a big window into either a dining area or a living room. And the reason I know that is because why else would you want all that natural light? So, like, literally, it's a house built for the purpose of humans to live in it.
And like,
Whereas, like,
look at
with
this.
like, yeah, with this house, it's just squares, rectangles, rectangles, squares,
You
squares, rectangles. It's more obsessed with being like geometrically tight. Like, they're not trying to satisfy humans with this house. They're trying
They're
to
not
satisfy
even going.
it's a
They're
fucking
not
math
even.
formula. They're trying to
Yeah.
satisfy like abstract mathematics with like the way
and
that this house
You
is
know that
constructed.
scene from Drake and Josh where Josh yells "Miracle"? That's what this shit is. But
Well,
like the example,
not just that. Think about this for a second.
rectangular.
You know for a fact this new house is built for shit. You know this thing's gonna fall apart in like 5 years because it was made by cheap labor and garbage.
This thing was built for an Indian migrant on an H-1B coming over so that they could work for 5 years, and
Meanwhile,
then they're
this
gonna get
house right
fucking
here,
deported, and it's gonna lose 70% of its value in like
this
10
house
years.
right here that was built, you know for a fact it was built by actual Americans that knew what they were doing. You know that because there's a big issue going around with like people like building houses and they inspect it and it's like they have the nails incorrect. There's shit sticking out everywhere. It's ugly. They're using
The
cheap
shingles
materials.
aren't even glued down.
Yeah, they're using the wrong stuff.
The toilet is at an angle on the floor, so the water backs up at a specific way.
worst one
The
I saw-
the countertop's not secured.
The worst one I saw
all
was
of this. All of this is a very pertinent discussion related to election security. By the way,
the entire second floor of a house, like this was a video I saw, was tilted down So some guy rolled a ball down, it went the other way. They fucked up the second floor completely. Like, this is the issue. And people are going to realize this, and people are realizing quickly that, oh, maybe we shouldn't go for the cheapest, worst options because the long run is more expensive. But these two images personify America's decline. You go from this to this garbage. Anyways, it reminds me of the Obama presidential thing. You guys see the pictures of that?
The Obama list.
Oh my gosh. Who approved of that? Who thought, yeah, that's what people want? People want to go into that square. Oh my gosh. DB for 2. Supply and demand is why minimalism is taken over. I think it's more so just laziness for a lot of people.
It's laziness. It's hatred for beauty. It's hatred for America. It's contempt for the West. It's this underlying thing of maximizing inoffensiveness and maximizing spite, and they hate you. That's it. That's
another
they hate you. They
another
hate
thing
nice
is
things. They hate beautiful things.
These companies are also like they want to optimize everything. They're over optimizing every single aspect to everything. That is why all these companies suck now. Seriously, name one company that's gotten better in the last 20 years.
SpaceX.
And that's a private it's fucking Musk. Like, that's why. Outside of that, can anyone name a company? I'm not talking about just like a startup in the last 20 years. In the last 20 years, a company that was already established that have improved significantly.
Very relevant to election security, by the way.
Yeah. Let's see. American Nerd for 10. I was watching some of the old James Bond movies during the weekend and noticed how amazing the old production designs for the sets look compared to the brutalist style of the Craig era. Well, yeah, that's another example. The sets used to actually look good for all these movies. Now they're just fucking volume stages that look like shit.
Things used to be beautiful and like enviable and beautiful. And now everything is ugly and it's gray and it's gay and it's queer and it's offensive to the human condition and it's all unnatural and it's all going to lose its value in the next 10 years.
It's going to fall apart in 5 years.
This is why they hate Trump. Trump is a businessman. Trump understands these things. Trump knows how to make things look beautiful. I'm unironically of the opinion Trump should be made Secretary of the Interior after he's done being president in advance.
That would be interesting.
A fucking blank check to go build whatever the fuck he wants, wherever the fuck he wants. Unironically.
Make this
I don't know if you agree or not, John.
Yeah, that'd be a good retirement job for him. That'd be a good retirement job. Like, because
just Trump build things.
He's still a real estate guy. He's still a guy that wants to build shit. Like, he's gonna be retired and he's gonna be like, I have nothing to do. I'm not going back to New York for obvious reasons. So
yeah, just let Trump build things. Just let Trump have a fucking blank check to build whatever the fuck he wants in the country, because whatever the fuck President Trump, praise be upon him, is gonna build is gonna be whoa, Nelly, I almost fell over. Is gonna be way better than whatever the fuck anyone else can build.
Kyle Hughes for a member for a month. Thank you so much, good sir. Eric for 5. It also goes to show how ridiculous it is to build something in California. The house already was actually demolished 7 years ago. Jesus.
So true.
Jacko Max for 2. Netanyahu, there's an Iran WMD in the Obama list. Oh gosh. That's real. But yeah, that would be interesting. Trump as the Interior Secretary, but would he accept that though? That's the thing. Because that would basically means he has to be like not the top guy.
I think Trump is one of those people who has to be working. And so if he's not given a government role, he will be working behind the scenes in politics with his son, Donald Trump Jr. Which could be like I can see that happening. I can see the shadow emperor stuff. I bet he would really love to do exactly what Obama's been doing for like the past.
But actually
10
be
years.
competent and just be playing golf.
But actually be competent and not trying to destroy the country. And I can also see him doing what Tyrone said, which is explicitly that he could work on the interior, he could work on making the country great for the rest of his life.
Part of me feels like I think he just wants to retire after his second term. I just have a feeling that he's done. Like he wants to be done with this kind of.
I feel like, and I could be wrong, but Trump feels like one of those guys that works until he's done. And so I feel like if he retired the second that his presidency was over, I feel like that he just wouldn't stay with us that much longer and that he would have a natural death. I mean, that I've seen a lot of people like that. I don't know if you guys may have not lived long enough to see that, but you see people in your life who work and work and work, and the second that they retire from their work, a year or two later, they're gone. And it's not because it's not for anything other than that their
I
will is
just
oriented and hitched to their work. I think that's Trump. I think Trump is hitched to his work at the hip, and when his work is done, I think his time on Earth will be close to being done too.
I just think he's like, I don't know, just when you listen to his tone, I think like he's still obviously fit to be president. I'm not saying he isn't. I think he's just exhausted over the last. I think he's just. I think he even knows he's kind of done because I just
Well,
don't think. I don't know.
here's the thing though, like he's a workaholic, and I can understand thinking he's tired, but like any sort of work he would take as like HUD secretary or behind the scenes work, it would be infinitely less stressful than the
Yeah, I can
presidency.
see that. Yeah,
And so what I'm saying is like it's still him getting relief, but it's still allowing him to work. And honestly, I want him to work not just because I think he does good work for the American people, but because I think when he stops working, it's going to be like a kind of thing.
that's good. That actually, that Trump is the type of person to die when he retires.
Well,
You're
that's what I'm
actually right.
saying.
Yeah, the more I think about
That's
that,
the whole thing.
yeah,
That's the whole thing I've been saying.
that's Trump. It's like shit. He's a freaking 120 and he's still working, but the second he retires, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, that's a good point. But I don't know. Yeah, I could maybe see him being like an advisor. He's gonna obviously be Vance's top advisor, not in the White House. He's gonna be the top guy he goes to, but we're gonna see. We shall see. Eric for two. I could see Trump as HUD secretary. That would be interesting. Him as HUD secretary. Just that'd be weird though. Can you imagine having a cabinet meeting and like Trump is just sitting there, but he's not the top guy? I
That
don't
is one problem. I don't think he would show up to the
he
meetings.
wouldn't. His ego would not allow him to show up. That's the issue. America noted for six. Speaking of James Bond, did y'all hear the director of the Dune movies set to make a new 007 movie by 2028? I did not hear that. Jack O'Max for five. I always felt like Trump was gonna be like Paul von Hindenburg. Hindenburg, good lord. Work until the end, ensuring the torch gets passed to a worthy successor. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, didn't he die like right after he left too? Hindenburg? Pretty sure he did.
All I remember about Hindenburg is that the disaster happened, and I think that, hey, Hindenburg, why didn't you stop that, buddy?
He was dead for like 30 years.
Buddy, why did you not rise from the grave and stop that from happening?
Yo, he's writing on Wiener Dog.
God.
That's sick.
Trump should rebuild Detroit. Honestly, if Trump was going to do, I think he would rebuild New York City. That would be the city he would
Oh, yeah,
probably.
he loves New York too much, and the seeing
It'd be
it
New York
taken over
City.
by Mamdani. Imagine Trump runs for mayor of New York City.
He would never get enough support. That's all the stuff he did for that city and how they repay him is disgusting. But I could see him being like an advisor to the HUD secretary, but like having his own thing in New York City, like just physically cleaning the filth up. He would do something like that. Maybe that is his final thing. He rebuilds New York City, and then that's when he dies. So, Trump should also rebuild LA. LA is the lost cause. Sorry to break it to you, but it is. Where are we at? Grassley gets aboard to resurrect Strom Thurmond. Thank you. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. Like we do gotta have that discussion. It's like we're getting close to the midterms, and after that, we have 2 more years of Trump, and that's not gonna feel real. Then when
And
you think about it,
unfortunately, it's going to be dominated by conversations of what comes next,
yeah,
which is natural. That was natural. That was what was happening, guys. That was what's happening in 2015.
this is gonna be the first time since before 2016 that Trump is not gonna be the like. Okay, he's still be the main Republican guy, but he's not gonna be the
I'm
nominee.
going to go lie down now. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. It's just gonna feel weird to think that like Trump is not actually the nominee. Like, yeah, he's gonna probably campaign with Vance, but it's gonna be just weird, a weird feeling. Uh,
It is gonna be really weird, and, I hope that we make the transition clean. Listen, all I gotta say to you guys is we're gonna be going through a transition, and your job during that transition is to stay cool, stay calm, collected, do not freak out, and kind of just, like, process and accept the changes that happen as they go, because the torch is gonna be passed, okay?
the Trump era is about to end. I would argue it's going to end when whoever the nominee is in 28, which is
Did
Vance.
the Obama era end at 2016? For, like, 4
That's a
years
li-
it did.
that's a I
Obama literally
guess
got a 3rd term 4 years later. Obama got a
that's
3rd
true.
term 4 years later.
That's fair. Commander John for 2. President Trump needs a third term. Trump 28. He's not running. We've been down this rabbit hole. He's not going to run. He jokes about it, but even he himself confirmed that he's not fucking running.
And as many problems as people have with the next nominee, I have heard inside information, not just from the articles, but the articles are saying this too, but from other information that I've received that Trump's no longer doing the funny little game between his two potential replacements. He's picked one. He's picked one. I don't have to say who it is. You just have to accept, regardless of how you disagree with him. I disagree with him on quite a few points. You have to accept that he's the guy, and we all got to get behind him, okay?
Damn, that's depressing.
No, it's not depressing at all. I'm sorry if my tone of voice made it sound that way. I'm extremely excited for the I think we're going to destroy our enemies. I think we're going to completely politically ruin them. I think we're going to enter an era where things get dramatically better, where even if I have disagreements with who's the president of the United States, and even if you have disagreements with who the president of the United States is, if we all stop being retarded and come together and destroy the communists trying to take over our country, we're all going to live dramatically improved lives. And then once that happens, then we can all have the minute squabbles over all the stuff that we disagree with. But like you
we're,
guys
we're
just keep
we're
your eyes
so
on the
close to the
prize.
finish line on this.
No, it's an amazingly positive message. It comes coupled with the reality that we have to adjust some things over the course of the rest of our lives. But the good news is you get to do that. You get to actually like talk and debate and have discussions about where the country goes after this next administration instead of, I don't know, letting a person like Zoran Mamdani run the entire United States of America and turn us into a third world shithole. Like, don't you guys think that's like a better life? Like disagreeing on 4 or 5 things that the next president says, but like getting to not be run as a communist third world shithole. Like, I actually think it's like an amazing thing. I think it's a beautiful thing.
All right,
I remembered I had a phone. Hello again.
All right, one more super chat, then we're done. Commander John for 5. Sorry, but y'all are wrong. We will give Trump a third term. Sorry, not sorry. He'll run again. No, he's not.
Isn't I recognize this guy.
Yeah,
This
he's
guy
been
has
saying this for a while. He's been
This guy's been
cooking.
saying this shit in your chat for forever. Commander John, I gotta tell you, man, you are dedicated.
Listen,
You might be retarded, but you deserve your props for being a patriot. We love you.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but like you're the Japanese soldier that didn't give up until 30 years
And
after.
and and I will give you anything you want. You need housing, you need food, you need a place to rest and shelter. I will provide it to you, sir. But no, and like you're just retarded, man. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
gosh, but it's one of those things
I
where
love you, but you're retarded.
I listen. I get that some people have a hard time accepting that Trump is done, but you just got to accept the fact that he's gonna be 80. He's not going to be here forever. Trump is already going to be 82 by 2028. He's getting up there in age. So even if he runs for a third term, which he's not going to, inevitably he's going to die. So that's a reality of it. And, I've already accepted it. Like, he's not going to be the nominee in 28. It's going to be weird to think about, but.
And I think the really important thing is, of course, when the announcement is made official, when Trump, and like I said, I'm not even saying the name of the person he's going to choose, when Trump chooses his nominee, shut up, get in line, go. I would do that even if he picked the person I don't want him to pick. Shut up, get in line, go. Trump is the emperor of the GOP. We just do what he says. And listen, it's not going to give you everything you want, no matter what direction it goes, but the point's not getting everything you want. The point is getting some of the things you want and not being violated, desecrated, destroyed by our enemies. Okay. God bless, guys.
2 more super chats, then we're done. Harbor Lights for 10. I downloaded the zip files from the whitehouse.gov. The 2020 election was stolen from 45. The intelligence agencies withheld all this information. That's a part that's damning. Like they knew about this and they withheld it. And I know some people are saying some of the documents were released earlier. Yeah, okay, maybe, but there's documents where it's like, yeah, we're withholding information from the president and we scrubbed his daily briefing so he doesn't know. It's not good. Commander John for 2. I have family and friends that agree with me. Sorry to break it to you, but it's not happening.
I love you, Commander John. I'm not saying this because I'm drunk. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. You are a patriot. You are amazing. I love you. But look, dude, just get in my DMs. I'll give you anything you want. But like, this is not.
Why are you in
you're
my
not getting
DMs,
this.
man?
Okay, we're done. We're done.
I just have all I'm saying is that I have immense affection for people with this type of attitude, not because they're being stupid and saying something wrong, but because the place that he's saying it from is a beautiful place. He's saying it from such a beautiful place. He's a patriot. He's dedicated. He's loyal. He is giving a virtue that the Roman Catholic Church extols, that the United States is very deprived of: obedience, love, loyalty. We need more loyal people. You look at the right-wing pundits today, you see loyalty? No, you see traitors. You're loyal, Commander John. You were a loyal patriot, and that's why we love you.
All right. So anyways, folks, we're on the stream here a lot longer than I expected it to go, but if you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today.